suppress them and manipulate them, but because they believe that they ought to do it in order to serve the Christian religion, the Muslim religion, the Buddha religion, and so on. Attachment, not flexibility, the protocol. There are some communists that say, I'm a communist, I should do this and that in my life, in my children's life, and so on. And others that I believe that I am a fan of this or that religion or ideology, and I should do this and that. Not extreme behavior, conservative behavior, not flexibility, rigid behavior, guiltiness, behavior followed by guiltiness or fear, or being of cowardice, and so on. Submissive behavior. Submissive behavior. The psoric behavior has to do with fun, again, attachment to fun. So he goes to the extremes and has great lust about food, about sex, and so on. So he finds himself addicted. He finds himself slave of his body, of his physical functions. Most of the times it's an extreme behavior, a risky behavior. It is out of moderation. What about the syphilitic behavior? It is egoistic, deliberate, rigid, or manipulative. It has perversion in it. These are the characteristics of the syphilitic behavior. And then, if we go on and see certain constitutional behaviors, syphilitic behavior has to do with many secondary behaviors. Many secondary behaviors. We have the primary behavior, I am cruel. And the secondary behavior, I tend to present myself that I am very sensitive, but I am cruel. That's a secondary behavior. If what you see is not what you get, if what I am is not what I present to you, then we have to do with a secondary behavior. Mostly syphilitic individuals have many secondary behaviors because they are flexible and they are manipulative, while psoric individuals do not adopt so many secondary behaviors, and also psychotic do not adopt many secondary behaviors. For example, Lachesis becomes very manipulative and tries to present herself as very religious, greatly religious and moral, in order to manipulate her children and tell them, you shouldn't do that, God will punish you. It's immoral what you have done. And the whole thing is to say, you will do what I want and obey all the time. Because I am very Christian, I am very religious, and I am the correct, and I know you don't know. If we take all this out, then we have the superior behavior. A superior behavior has again the same characteristics as we have talked about thinking and emotions. A superior behavior is not egoistic. It is altruistic. Not in the sense of being a victim like most psoric individuals do. Phosphorus constitution tends to be in an imbalanced way altruistic, and so he becomes the victim. We talk about real altruism. So the superior man is not egoistic, tends to be very altruistic, tends to see the whole and to serve others, the real interests of others. His behavior is according to natural laws, to universal laws, according to natural morality, and not according to his own interest. All the time he tries to answer the question before doing something. Is it moral or not, according to natural morality? Then I don't have personal opinions. I will follow what I believe, that I truly believe that it's moral. Now, we have to see some things also, some more things. We have to discuss some more issues and see how does this serves us, is useful to us in homeopathic prescribing and treatment. You see, first of all, we will see, when we talk about thinking, we have to realize that there are different knowledge, different levels of knowledge. And we have to know this. We have the spirit, we have the soul, we have the etheric level, and we have the body, the physical body. Then we have the conscious soul, intellectual soul, and the senses soul, or sensational soul. Then we have here the spiritual world, the psychological world, higher and lower, the etheric world, and the material world. This way up, we have the word of uniqueness. This way down, we have the word of diversity. Here we have minerals. Here we have plants. Here we have animals. inferior and superior animals. Here we have man. And here we have God, Creator, angels, and so on. Each kind of level has a different ability for knowledge. And the more a man which consists of all the levels, if he is tuned to upper levels, he has more knowledge, quantity and quality of knowledge. So, minerals have no knowledge at all. Zero knowledge. No knowledge. Zero knowledge. Nobody will argue about it. Plants don't have knowledge. They notice things. No, Plants don't have knowledge. They perceive. They are senses. They are physical and etheric senses. They sense things. So they sense and they react automatically. They sense the light and they react by turning their leaves towards the light. They don't know, they don't think, oh, this is light coming, I should turn my leaves towards there. They sense and react. They don't know. They sense the etheric energy of the man that is watering them and who loves them. They sense the positive etheric energy and they react by growing. They sense the negative energy, etheric energy, and they stop growing. They don't have emotions. In order to have emotion, I have to notice things, think, and then we have emotions. I have to think. Plants do not think. They sense things and they react automatically. Lower animals notice things and start lower animals animals notice things and know things. A lower animal notices the change of weather, notices the presence of a lion, knows that there is a lion there and I am in danger and reacts, runs away. Man, so with the senses we notice things and with the intellect we know things. We think. But man, because he has the conscious soul, is conscious, can be conscious of things, can be aware of things, can realize the depth of things, is conscious of things, is aware of things, realizes the depth of things by his conscious soul. So that's why we say, I knew these things for years, but it's the first time that I realize that I am conscious of, that I am aware of the essence of things. You may have learned all the rubrics of sulfur. You think that you know sulfur, and you know sulfur, but you are not conscious or aware of his essence until there comes a time that you have the full picture and the essence of sulfur. Then you are conscious of sulfur. You are aware of sulfur. That's why the mechanical methods of repertorizing, keynote prescribing, and computer expert system deal with this, with the intellect, with the senses and the intellect. They know these rubrics and they know rubrics. But in classical miasmatic constitutional homeopathy, we tend to deal with the essence of things and the whole picture of constitutions, and we are conscious of the sulfur constitutional influence and picture. That's why I believe that classical miasmatic constitutional homeopathy is a higher method of homeopathic prescribing, because it uses the higher levels of man. And then, with our spirit, only some enlightened people, only some people superior that try to raise themselves to their higher existence by coming in contact with their conscience, with the spirit, they can become in communion with the rest of the universe, with nature, with God, with the human society, with everything. In communion with. These are different levels. It's a different thing to sense things. We sense with our etheric senses. We notice with their sensation soul, we notice what our senses have come in contact to. Then we think about what we have noticed, and then by using our conscious soul, we become aware or conscious of what we have learned. And when things go even higher, there's a time during meditation, during prayer, during enlightenment, that we are in communion not with everybody. We are not I. We are we. We are in communion, in union with everything. That's the feeling of in communion with, and we do that with our spiritual senses. We have the physical organs of the senses, the eye, the ear, the nose, and so on. We have the sensational, the senses. We have the etheric senses, we have the intellectual senses, we have the senses of the conscious soul, and we have the spiritual senses. The more high we go, the more deeper is our knowledge, if we use the term knowledge as a general term of all this. Another issue. Kinds of emotions. spirit, soul, conscious soul, intellectual soul, sensation soul, etheric body, material body. Why is it so important to know these levels and their functions? Because we can have different kinds of emotions, and we are so much confused with emotions. When it comes to body, we can, by the sensational psyche, we have stimuli coming from the external material world, and through our body, these stimuli, we notice these stimuli, and our thinking creates feeling. It creates feelings. We feel. We have the sensation of feelings. We feel hot. We feel cold. We feel tired. These are feelings caused by the sensational psyche. Our body doesn't feel, our etheric energy doesn't feel. Our bodies doesn't feel, our body has the organs of senses, but unless the stimuli goes to the brain and unless we have a sensational soul interpreting and feeling what has come to us as an information, we don't have feelings. A dead man doesn't have feelings, so 1 second after his death, a dead man doesn't feel, because it's not that his eye has become rotten, his eye is intact, his brain is intact 1 minute, 1 second after his death, but his soul has gone away. His soul, and especially his sensational soul, is not in union with the brain in order to take the stimuli and feel them. We feel with not with our brain, with our sensational soul we feel. That's why a computer doesn't feel. A computer takes the image from the camera, it interprets it through the program, but it doesn't feel. The user of the computer sees and feels, sees the image and feels. So the sensational soul has feelings. The intellectual soul has emotions. What is the difference? We think, and because of our thinking, we think, and when thinking, an event happens. We notice it with our senses. We see it, we hear it. We start thinking about it. We interpret this event according to our memory, previous events, according to our intellectual patterns, and according to our miasmatic and constitutional influences. And then we have the emotion. Let me give you an example. If I am a Mendorinum subject and I see my girlfriend tells me, with what you do and with your behavior, you have caused me to stop loving you. And this girlfriend starts shouting, starts becoming miser, and so on. If I am a Mendorinum individual, and my tendency is to have fun without many troubles, and she tells me that I don't love you anymore, and the last months she's been complaining all the time, and I can't have fun with her laying in bed or living with her, then I think, what the heck, go away, I'm sick and tired of you, I can't have sex and enjoy orgasm with you, I can't go out and have fun with you, and you spoil my fun. So, if this is my thought, and if my memory and past events tell me that I don't like women that trouble me, and my intellectual pattern is to enjoy life, and I don't want people complaining around me, then my emotion will be, I am glad. Go away. Fuck you, a psychotic person will say. And we'll go to the next woman. He will not have a life of disappointment. He will be glad that it was over. But if you have an Atrum Muriaticum individual, a psoric individual, and the event is that her Mendorinum fiancé got engaged with her in order to have sex with her, to get her to bed because she is beautiful and young, and in order to do so, to get her to bed, to get laid, he was very romantic in the beginning, and he said, I love you so much. He gave presents to her, and he promised eternal love. And then the Natrum Muriaticum psoric person believed what he told her, and because she is romantic, she wanted to live the great love of her life. She believes him, she falls in love with him, and then after he gets tired of her, or he meets another woman and he cheats on her, and she learns that he cheated on her, and she starts crying and complaining, and he tells her, oh, fuck you, I don't love you anymore, and he goes away. And then the Natrum Muriaticum individual thinks and interprets the event as a love disappointment. She loves him, she thought that they would live happily ever after for the whole of their life and have a family, and he betrayed her, he used her, he spoiled her virginity and her ideals, and now what kind of emotions will she have? Intellectual emotions of the kind of love disappointment, grief, and so on. So, when it comes to intellectual emotions, we have emotions that rely on the events, on the interpretation of the event, of past memory, of intellectual patterns, of miasmatic and constitutional influences. These emotions have to do with us, with our ego, with our interpretations, with our self. Then we have a different kind of emotions. Here we have physical feelings. Here we have intellectual emotions. Here we have conscience emotions. And here we have spiritual emotions. What are the differences of a conscious emotion from an intellectual emotion? The difference is that these emotions come from our conscience, come from being aware of things. Conscious emotions can be created only when you raise yourself up to conscience, only when you are aware of, conscious of, realize. For example, when you go out to nature and you relax and you stop thinking of your egoistic things and forget yourself and become in union with nature, then you feel these great positive emotions. You feel in unity with nature, in unity with other people. You feel unconditional love and relaxation and calmness and serenity. Then these are conscious emotions. The same thing may happen when you pray. Pray not like, God, I want $1 million in order to buy a car and a house and so on. This is not a prayer. When you really and truly pray, you may come to feel conscious emotions. When you meditate, when you are in love, fully in love with a person, you feel conscious emotions in the beginning, most of the times. And then, when you are more high, then you feel spiritual emotions, spiritual love. They have the same characteristics of conscious emotion, but with greater intensity and quality. Example. There comes a lachesis patient and tells you that I love so much my husband and children. I have a pathological love for them. I serve them, I cook for them, I clean the house, I take care of them. I am so much in love with them. But I am so much afraid about them that they will get injured, that they will get sick. I have so many fears about them, and I tell them, don't go out like that, put your jacket on, don't come late, you will get sick. Read to become, to have a good profession. Don't marry that woman because she is bad. Marry this woman that is good, and so on. And then you give her her prescription, and she comes next time and tell you, no. But then, after saying that she loves pathologically her husband and children, she tells you that now, the last week, they are fighting with her husband very much because she has suspicions that he has cheated on her. She has gone with another woman, and now she is so angry and she hates him for doing that to her, for betraying her. Or her son went with that, wants to marry with that girl that she doesn't like and she hates, and then she has these fights with her son and tells him that if you marry that woman, forget me, I am not your mother. What kind of emotions does that woman have? Does he have intellectual emotions or conscience or spiritual emotions? Is her love intellectual or conscience or spiritual? It is an intellectual love. That's why so easily from love she has gone to hate, and from hate to love. It's an egoistic, it's an egoistic emotion. Egoistic emotion. Not a conscience or a spiritual emotion. You see, there is a great difference. Why I say this? Because if that lachesis patient came to you before he had fighting with her husband, and she tells you that I love my husband, I love my children, I love all people because I'm a Christian, then I'm so sensitive, I weep so easily, then you would have prescribed the psoric constitution pulsatilla. You wouldn't have prescribed lachesis because you have believed her secondary behavior. But if you know what is an intellectual emotion, and if you check it with her behavior, then you will say, now she loves him, now she hates him. It's an intellectual emotion of the kind of lachesis, of the syphilitic lachesis, not of the kind of psoric pulsatilla. Pulsatilla also has intellectual feelings, okay, but of a different kind. So, this knowledge helps us see the truth, see beyond the primary behavior, see the secondary behavior. Also, if I am a homeopathic doctor and I don't know these things, and this person comes to me and says she's a lachesis individual, she said that she loves greatly her husband and children, and after her husband cheated on her, she says, I hate him, and I hit him, and I will get revenge. Then you know again that she has intellectual emotions. You don't say, if you are a homeopathic doctor, that you are under the influence of syphilitic miasm and the syphilitic constitution lachesis, and you have the patient lachesis opposite you, then you may say her behavior is normal because he has cheated on her, and that's why she is so angry, and she is justified to feel jealous and angry. Then you have lost the case. You will not prescribe lachesis. You are not objective. You are subjective, and you don't know how things are. So, in order to become a good homeopathic doctor, you have to know what are emotions, what are intellectual emotions, the differences from the conscience emotions. If a lover comes to you, one that has recently have fallen in love, and this psoric individual, the patient, and he comes to your office and tells you, after I have fallen in love, I feel so unconditional love for my affair. I say, what pleases you? I will do my love, I will do what pleases you. I don't care, you decide. And then, if I am Lachesis or a Platina doctor, homeopathic doctor, influenced by these constitutions, and I am syphilitic, then when this girl comes to me and says to me that I am in love with my fiancé, and I tell me, whatever you decide, whatever pleases you, then I will say, she is such a silly young girl, she is sick, and I will prescribe wrong remedies. Because I am influenced by my miasmatic and constitutional influences, and I don't know what a conscious emotion, a spiritual emotion is. Anything, any other issue? That's all. I may have tired some of you, especially those who believe that homeopathic lessons is about saying pain in the head like this, belladonna. Anger like that, nux vomica. But this is just information. This is just rubrics. This is just intellectual, materialistic, mechanical thinking. It's not holistic thinking. And keynote prescribing, repertorizing, and computer expert systems are mechanical methods of prescribing. They are not effective and they are not magical. While classical miasmatic constitutional and homeopathy is holistic thinking and creates to the doctor holistic emotions, superior emotions, conscious emotions, if you live it and enjoy it. And on top of all, it has much more deeper and permanent therapeutic results. Thank you.